translating English to algebra. So when it comes to algebra, let's do some vocabulary. So starting with variable and coefficient. So variable is a letter used to represent an unknown quantity. So if you study algebra in the past, so some variable that we use all the time, they are x, y, z. Sometimes we use w, sometimes we use k. It's just a letter represents some unknown quantity. So let the number of cars you have equals to x. So x is the numbers of cars you have. So if x is equals to 5, that means you have 5 cars. If x is equals to 2, that means you have 2 cars, right? So let y be the number of brothers you have. So if you have 2 brothers, then y is equals to 2. If you have 1 brother, then y is equals to 1, so on and so forth. Coefficient. Coefficient is a real number that is multiplied by a variable. So we already introduced variable, right? So what is coefficient? So let's say we have a 2x, then the 2 is called the coefficient. Let's say we have a negative 5y, then negative 5 is called the coefficient. It's basically the number in front of the letter, including the sign. The number in front of a letter. So that is called coefficient. What about algebraic term? Product or quotient of a variable and a coefficient. So if you have a 2x, then this is one algebraic term. If you have negative 4y, this is an algebraic term. If you have a 10z, this is an algebraic term. Of course, you can use fractions like this. Half x, so 1/2 is called coefficient, x is called variable, the entire thing is called one algebraic term. What about algebraic expression? Sum or difference of algebraic terms, there is no equal sign. So let's say I have 2x minus 5y. This is an algebraic expression. You put a bunch of algebraic terms together, but that expression is not equal to anything. So you have a line of algebraic terms, there is no equal. What about equation? The difference between equation and expression is equation has an equal, expression doesn't. So equation is a mathematical statement in which one algebraic expression is set equal to a constant or another expression. So what is a constant? Constant, the definition is on the right, is a real number in an expression or an equation. So let's say 5, negative 6, 1/2, negative 1/4, they are constant. Because the 5 is always 5. 5 is not changing. Negative 6 is negative 6. Negative 6 is not changing. But on the other hand, if you have x, x is a variable because x is changing. So constant is just one real number. What is an equation? So let me give you a simple equation. So let's say I have x minus 5 is equals to 1, then what is x equals to? So this is an equation. I have an expression on the left, I have an expression on the right, and then I have an equal between them. So you have something on the left hand side, something on the right hand side, and there is an equal between the left side and the right side. So x minus 5 is equals to 1. So the left hand side, I always call that LHS. LHS stands for left hand side, and then the right hand side I call that RHS, right hand side. So this is an equation. It's a mathematical statement in which one algebraic expression is set equal to a constant or another expression. So if you want to set the left hand side equals to an expression, that is fine. I can give you another example. So let's say y plus 6 equals to 2y minus 1. Then this is another equation. Equation has equal, expression does not have equal. All right, so we go over equation and constant. So what about coefficient? Or coefficient that is repetitive, right? It's a real number in front of a variable. So let's do this again. So let's say you have negative 1/2 x. So negative 1/2 is a coefficient. You have a 5y. 5y is a coefficient. If you have a 4.6z, then 4.6 is a coefficient. So do you see there is a box on the right? So I have 2 examples. So they are both equations, right? So 4x no. Actually, the first one, this is an expression. So this is an expression. And then the second line is an equation. Because the first line does not have an equal, the second line have an equal. So the first line is expression 4x minus 3y plus 7. How many algebraic terms do we have? We have 2 algebraic term, 4x and minus 3y. There is one constant, that is the positive 7. Again, we have 2 algebraic terms, 4x and minus 3y, one constant term, positive 7. What about variables? There are two variables, x and y. There are two coefficients, 4 and minus 3. You have to take the sign with you. You can say positive 4 and negative 3. You can say that that is absolutely true. What about the second line? There are two variables, x and y. Two coefficients, negative 5 and positive 6, and one constant term, minus 10. All right, it is just that easy. So let's do some examples. So I have some expression and some equation. So how do you know that everything, the three lines you see on the left is an expression? Because there is no equal, right? What about equation? Equation has an equal. Left hand side equals to right hand side. So how many algebraic terms do you see on the first one? So there is one algebraic term, so that is 2.5. And then what about constant term? Constant term is positive 3. Write this down. Algebraic term 2.5x, constant term positive 3. What about variable? The variable is x. What about coefficient? Coefficient is 2.5. All right, so that's the first one. How about the next line? There is one algebraic term. If you just call them a terms, they are two terms, negative 4x and minus 7. If you just use the word term, T-E-R-M term, they are two terms. But to be specific, the negative 4x is an algebraic term because there is one variable, x. And then the negative 7 or the minus 7 is called a constant term, or just you can say a constant. And there is one coefficient, negative 4. There is one variable, x. All right, so next line, how many algebraic terms? 2. 6x and minus 4y, two algebraic terms. One constant, 3.14. How many variables? 2, x and y. How many coefficients? The number in front of a letter, 2, 6 and minus 4. Again, two coefficients, 6 and minus 4. Two variables, x and y. Two algebraic terms, 6x and minus 4y. One constant term, 3.14. Let's go to the equations. First one, 2x plus 1 equals to 13. There are two constants, 1 and 13. There is one algebraic term, 2x. And there is one variable, x. There is one coefficient, 2. The next line, 7 minus 4y equals to negative 2. Two constants, 7 and 2. One algebraic term, negative 4y. One variable, y. One coefficient, negative 4. It is just that simple. Let's do a few more. I have a few more on the next page. Identify the variables, coefficients, and constants. How about this? We call this 1, 2, 3, 4. So number 1, how many variables? So there is only one variable, x, right? How many coefficients? The 2. How many constants? 2, negative 3, and 10. Is number 1 an equation or an expression? So number 1 is an expression. How about number 2? So there is one variable, x, constant term, 2, negative 9 and 10. And then, the next one should be coefficient, right? Okay. The coefficient is 1.22. So this is a coefficient. This is a coefficient. There are two constants, negative 9 and 10. So constant. And this is an equation. Okay, let's use a different color to divide the work. The next one, number 3, how many variables? 1, x, right? And then how many coefficients? 1, negative 3, coefficient. How many constants? 3, negative 2, negative 7, and negative 6. And this is an equation. Okay, last one. How many variables? They are both y, so y is the only variable. One in here, one in here, right? So there is one. You can say there are two identical variables, okay? But the only variable is y. Y, at the end of the day, you have to find out what y equals to, right? So you can still call that one variable. Coefficients. So here, the top, you have to do a distribution, right? So how do you do a distribution? So let's say I have 2 times 1 plus 3. What is that equal to? So 1 plus 3 is equals to 4. And then 2 times 4 is equals to 8, right? Or you can distribute the 2 first. So 2 times 1 plus 3, 2 times 1, 2 times 3. So 2 times 1 is equals to 2. 2 times 3 is equals to 6. And the plus goes right there, so that is equals to 8. So if you distribute that, that is negative 4y. Negative 4y times negative 12, that is past the 48. And then divided by 5. So that is equals to negative 0.75 y, right? How many coefficients? 2. Negative 4 and negative 0.75. How many constants? There are 2 constants, 48 and 5. And then how many, and this is an equation. If you are doing this type of problems online, if they don't expect you to do the distribution here, I got the coefficients right here, right? So if you don't do the distribution, if you just consider negative 4, y minus 12 divided by 5 equals to negative 0.75, you can just say that the coefficients are actually the constant, not there, not the coefficient, the constant here, the constant. You can just look at this and this one, but I really don't recommend this. I'm sure the problem would like you to distribute. If you say negative 12 and 5, I think you will get credits for the 5, but this one, the 12, I don't think they will give you credits for that, because you do have to distribute the negative 4 to get past the 48. But the distribution I already explained right here. You can follow how I do it. So if you don't mind, let's do one more. How about negative 2 times 4 plus 5? How do you distribute? How about this? Let's change that to a negative. So you take the 2, multiply the 4, and then you take the negative 2, multiply the 5. So negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. Negative 2 times 5. So here is how the logic works. You put the minus right here. Negative 2 times 5, that is equals to negative 10. And the negative becomes positive. So negative 8 plus 10, that is equals to 10 minus 8, which is equals to 2. So that's how you do a distribution. So this is called distribution. Alright, that is the end of this video. If you think my instruction is helpful, let me know in the comment below. Like the video, subscribe to my channel, share the video for me. Appreciate your help. See you all in the next one. Signing off for now.